We're live?
We're live.
We're live! Coming to you live! 7th period. This one's for you. I know it's going to be weird, but it's okay. By the way, you're here with 3rd period. As you're watching this, I'm on a bus to go smash skulls in North Carolina. That's why you're getting it. So, couple quick housekeeping things. Today, we're only going to get through this many terms. I wanted to get all the way through 1898. It's not going to happen today. We'll definitely get into that on Monday. If we can get all the way through with it on Monday, then we will quiz on Tuesday, lab on the block day, and I really don't know what we're going to do on Friday. I haven't gotten that far ahead yet. If we don't get everything done on Monday, we will finish it up on Tuesday, still lab on block day, and quiz on Friday. So, you know, we're kind of in a liminal period, so to speak, right now. We've only got 6 terms. There's a lot that goes into those 6 terms. Most of today will be in review. So, you at least got to wave at the camera when you go by. Say hi to 7th period.
Stop!
So rude. Not even hi 7th period or anything.
I think that works.
All right. So we've already knocked out. We've knocked out the whole everything here with origins of the New South. We've knocked out everything here with the development of the West. The only thing that we've got left. What's going on?
We never have paper. We used to restock.
Zovins. You're slipping, man.
Sorry.
So, of 15, the only thing that we've got left is to talk social Darwinism and social gospel. I'll wait to talk about that probably on Monday, definitely on Monday, when we cover all the stuff here in 16. We started talking about the agrarian discontent and political issues. We're going to continue with this discontent and the political issues today. So when we get in here Monday and Tuesday, we'll knock out basically 16 and the last thing of 15. This stuff we're saving for when we get back from break. So we've talked Hayes' presidency. We talked about that controversial election that got him in. We talked about his executive order in terms of civil service. We talked about the Treaty of 1880. We talked about the Chinese coming over. How the railroads developed the West. We talked about the railroads' impacts on other industries, primarily steel. Carnegie Steel, to be specific, is what we talked about when we talked vertical integration. We also talked monopolizing and horizontal integration. In the reading, there are more things about other industries that were impacted by railroads. I'll let you guys pick that up on your own. We talked about Edison's light bulb and how that's going to shape the worker in the workplace. We talked this election of 1880 where Garfield made a deal with Conkling. Did he do what he was supposed to do? No. And how strange. He got killed by Gateau, which left the door open for Chester Arthur. Remember, Chester Arthur doesn't just turn over the White House to the stalwarts and Conkling. Is that going to help him for re-election? No. He does pass the Chinese Exclusion Act and the Pendleton Act, though. We talked J.D. Rockefeller and Standard Oil. J.D. Rockefeller and Standard Oil, is it a trust or a monopoly?
Trust.
What is a trust? Yeah, lets one person manage another person's property. We talked about sharecropping in the New South. We talked about both physical and psychological segregation. That 1884 campaign where we've got Grover Cleveland versus James G. Blaine. Who wins? Cleveland. What state really catapults him into the White House?
New York.
New York. Why do I say that his rise is so big?
First Democrat.
Yeah, he's that first Democrat since 1856. Also, what was he doing 2 years ago?
The governor.
He just got elected to be the governor. And so it really is a big jump for him. We talked about his first term issues. We talked labor unions. What is the function of labor unions? What three things do they fight for? Good. Better hours, better wages, better working conditions. Good. What is the labor union that we talked about? Good. The American Federation of Labor. Who created that?
That dude, right?
Yeah, little Sammy G. Gompers. And remember, Gompers has that three-pronged approach. The first thing that he has to get is get industries to do what? Recognize him. The second?
Just get, like, what, everybody?
Everyone has to.
Yeah, everybody that works in that company is in the labor union. What is that called?
Close shop.
Good, closed shop. And the third thing he's pushing for how many hours in a workday?
8 hours.
8 hours. An 8-hour workday leaves what kind of life open?
8 hours of play, 8 hours of play.
Good. A nice balance. All right. We talked about GAR. What is GAR?
It's the Grand Army of the Republic.
Good. Grand Army of the Republic. What is it though?
They're wanting veterans, right? They're like veterans.
Good. It's a lobby group for that wants pensions for disabled veterans. Remember, they're going to petition petition Cleveland hundreds of times. They're going to even get a bill passed through Congress. Cleveland will always what? Veto it. Why?
Because he lots of
Good. Yeah, he's not sympathetic with the vets. He bought a sub in the war. All right. Interstate Commerce Act is going to regulate the railroads. Remember, this Interstate Commerce Act creates the Interstate Commerce Commission. That's our first federal regulatory agency. That is, what is the Interstate Commerce Act going to do in order to regulate the railroads?
Lower prices.
What are they trying to get?
create reasonable rates and give better rates to big industry.
Good, reasonable, equitable rates. Why are better rates going to be for big businesses?
Because they're using it more often.
Good, they use them a lot more often. Helen Jackson wrote a book that did what?
Talk about how bad we are.
Relating to Indians.
Yeah, criticized how we're treating Indians. And so Congress responds with that Dawes Severalty Act. What does the Dawes do to land?
It divides it up.
Divides it up and then does what with it?
And then it would trust for 24.
The head of the family can gain land. If you accept land, what do you get?
Citizenship.
What are we trying to achieve here?
Assimilation.
Assimilation. Alright? Now, some of you guys jumped ahead of the process here. What are we going to do with the land?
We're gonna
Hold it.
Hold it in trust for 25 years. What are we doing with this? Good, yeah. If we find resources, we take them from the land, then move the Indians back on. Is what we're doing nice?
No.
No. Alright? But what it is it is in its most raw form, it is the best case study of assimilation. Alright? Is it right? Is it just? No. Probably not. But it is what it is. And you know, if you're looking for the most Machiavellian approach to population control and assimilation, there it is. Election of '88 between Cleveland and Harrison. Who's going to win that?
Harrison.
Harrison. Ben Harrison. Who is he?
He's a
Grandson of Ha Ha, and he's the soldier senator. Is he going to give some love to the vets?
Yes.
Absolutely. He gives the loves to the vets. With that Dependent and Disability Pension Act, that's what it's called, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. What's that, 1890? What does that do? Pensions to who? Disabled vets.
Their
children,
parents,
parents,
and their kids.
Good. For all the dependents of a vet, but it gives it to the vets. How long did you have to be in the war for?
90 days.
90 days. All right, for 90 days or more, it's going to give it to you. Remember, we talked by what, 95, something like $135 million in yearly appropriations, and by the first 10 years, we've spent over $1 billion hooking our vets up. Okay? Here are the other issues. In terms of regulating the monopolies, we're going to get that Sherman Antitrust Act. What does the Sherman do?
It prohibits contracts, combinations.
Yep. No contracts, combinations, or conspiracy in restraint of trade. What are we going after with this?
Monopoly.
Good, monopolies. Now, the Sherman Antitrust Act, the Pendleton Act, all these acts that deal with reform, and the Interstate Commerce Act, all these are good, but what's the problem with all of them?
Presidents are weak.
Presidents are weak, and it's the executive branch that enforces laws. Good. Who's going to be the president that's going to have the teeth to enforce this?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, Teddy comes in, 1900, we see those mergers drop precipitously. Big words! Who's that?
Sitting Bull.
Good, Sitting Bull. Who was Sitting Bull?
He's a
spiritual leader.
Good, the cultural leader of the Lakota Sioux. What is he trying to get people to do?
He's trying to get
The
him
ghost
a ghost
dance.
dance. You do the ghost dance.
Good, the ghost dance. What's wrong with doing the ghost dance?
It's illegal.
It's been made illegal. Why?
The DSA. Because
They
they're trying to
don't want them
assimilate
to
Indians.
We're
practice
trying to
their
completely assimilate these people, strip them of their cultural values and put ours on them. So, he does the ghost dance anyway, what happens?
The soldiers catch them. The cavalry comes and they run.
Good. What happens to Sitting Bull at Wounded Knee?
The cavalry
It was like 2,000 people.
like 200 people died.
200.
27.
Good grief!
You killed 7 period.
Hi, we're back. Hold please. We've got an absolute video terrorist sitting in front of this thing. Hey, scoot up.
My fault.
It was
That's
Jaws.
Jaws. Back up.
Sitting behind it.
Scoot up more. A little bit more. There you go.
There we go.
Now keep your feet off of it. Hi, 7th period. We're back. What was the last thing we said?
200 people dead.
Good, yeah. And assimilation is going to really go rampant. Remember, this is the last Native American resistance effort. For you readers, you people that like to read, I wasn't like you in high school, but I did. I wasn't, but I like to read now. This is a really good book about what was going on in the American West at this time. In terms of what's going on with the Native Americans. It's called Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Really, really good book. You guys should check it out if you like it. Have you guys heard what Johnny Depp's trying to do? Johnny Depp, like a month or two ago, came out. He's trying to buy the land at Wounded Knee Creek, and he wants to gift it back to the Sioux. He's a strange dude. He really is. He's a strange, quirky little man. And with his, philanthropic ideas, really weird. But this one, I think it's pretty cool. So, Johnny Depp, you get an attaboy. Farmers. What are the farmers going to create?
Yellow wing.
Is it only the farmers in the Populist Party?
No.
Who else is in there?
There's also like anti-imperialists,
Anti-imperialists,
prohibitionists.
prohibitionists. Again, the Populist Party is people who are upset, people who aren't happy, they feel underrepresented, and so they're all coming together to try to make a push. And we talked about everything with the parable, with the Wizard of Oz, and the parallels between the two. So, with that in mind, let's hit this election.
How do you spell pension?
P-E-N-S-I-O-N-S.
Oh, no, that doesn't spell it.
It's okay, as long as you know what it is. 7th period, can you see me?
No.
How about now?
Half of you.
Which half? It's like the 2.5, right? You get 2.5 teachers this year. Election! Election of 1892. Remember, between... How about now? Can you see me? Between 89 and 90, 6 new states coming to the union, they're all where?
West.
And what is their economic push? Farming, okay? In this election, farmers' issues have to be addressed, all right? They have to be addressed. Currency is also an issue. In the East, most Easterners support what kind of currency? Gold. Out West? Silver. Okay, good. June, the Republicans are going to get together in Minneapolis. They like Harrison, but there is some challenges, from James G. Blaine and William Henry Harrison. Harrison's going to end up getting the nod. He gets a new vice presidential candidate, a guy named Reed. He's the editor of the New York Tribune. Platform for the Republicans. They want a high tariff. They want bimetallism. What is bimetallism?
It's gold and silver.
Yeah, gold and silver. They want both of them in the mix. They support a canal somewhere in Central America. What are they alluding to? Yeah, Panama Canal. They support prohibition. Whose idea was supporting prohibition? Yeah, so we already see one of the big parties trying to take those ideas. And they also want to continue to restrict immigration. All right. June, Democrats are going to get together in Chicago. Lots of interruptions in this convention. They chose a pretty crappy place to have a convention. There's real stormy weather. The roof was leaky. It's just not very good. No, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think it's Wigwam. I hope not. Don't worry, they fixed the roof since then. They're going to end up going with Grover Cleveland again. Okay, so they're going to run him again, even though he lost the last election. Platform, they want a tariff for revenue only. They support bimetallism. They want a canal through Central America. They oppose prohibition. What's the only difference between Republicans and Democrats here?
Prohibition.
Prohibition and tariff. All right. They have opposite ideas on the tariff, and the Democrats are alcoholics. Can I say that? Populists. Populists are going to get together in Omaha. They're going to go and nominate Weaver. We've seen Weaver before. He's that guy from Iowa out of the House. We saw him last. He was the candidate for the Greenback Party back in 1880. Now, it's interesting how the populists are pairing up their candidates, because they go with Weaver, who is a former Union general. They pair him up with a guy named Field, who was a former Confederate soldier. All right? It's not that big of a deal anymore. Well, it kind of is, but it's changing. All right? What's the point of a third party?
Ideas.
Bring up new ideas. Here's their platform. They want widespread reform. Okay, widespread reform. What they want is the direct election of the Senate. They want the people to elect senators. At this time, how are the senators getting elected?
The House of Representatives picks from ones from the state, right?
There you go. You remember all the way back from Unit 2. People vote the House, people vote the state government. The state government gives that list. The House picks from those state lists to fill up the Senate. All right? Populists want direct election of the Senate. They want nationalization of both railroads and communication industries. They want a graduated income tax. They want coinage at a ratio of 16 to 1. All right? 16 to 1. 16 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. And they want term limits for presidents. Overall, it's a pretty dull campaign. Tariff is the biggest issue here. We're actually going to see William McKinley campaigning pretty vigorously for Harrison here. In the middle of the campaign, though, Caroline Harrison, Ben's wife, is going to die. What's up?
I almost knocked it down again. Good, we're good.
He's a bad dude. Keep your feet off the desk. Caroline Harrison dies, and at that point, the Republicans just nearly completely stop campaigning.
He blames Henry Clay.
Yeah, blames Henry Clay. Who wins this thing?
Dang.
Yeah, Cleveland wins. But what's more interesting here?
Weaver got.
Yeah. Remember, I told you guys, Populist Party is going to be the most successful third party to date in U.S. history. They're the only third party that is actually going to carry some states. They carry 4 states all by themselves, and they get love from 2 others. All right, now, where's all their support, though? Out west. All right. New states, remember, we've got 6 of them. Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota. All right. Why haven't we filled up this area yet? Why can't we get a large populace out here?
Isn't that
Because that's not where we're dividing land.
It's all desert. Who wants to live in a desert? Lizards. Lizards. Nobody lives out here until we get air conditioning.
That's where they shop.
Hasn't New Mexico been like ready to come in since California?
No, remember they tried to bring Utah and New Mexico in together, but it was like this was Utah and that was New Mexico. They're dividing it up. It's gonna be a while. Actually, I think I want to say Arizona's the last one in the contiguous states, but I could be wrong. We'll have to see as we keep rolling. Contiguous, you know what that word means?
No.
Connected, yeah. All right. So, who's our president? Grover. He's back. He's the only president who's done that. Only president who's done that who's been elected, lost, and elected. All right, he's served too. Yeah, gotta stop counting with my thumb. Yeah. Wow. High 7th period. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's the only one of our presidents who's ever been a 2-time president, but not continuous president. All right. And we can see his issues here: panic, currency legislation, splitting up the Democrats, tariffs and taxes, and of course labor.
Yo.
It's been 20 years. When was the last time we had a panic? 73. It's almost like these things happen every 20 years. Sure, give or take 5, whatever. This panic, the Panic of '93, really is going to be a worldwide depression. Okay, it really is a worldwide depression. There's several causes to this panic. Some of the things we've been doing to ourselves. What did we talk about the other day? 2 things that we've done that's going to hurt us.
Raise our tariff.
That McKinley tariff jacks it up to the highest ever, and it slows our trade. What's the other?
Chinese.
Nope.
Oh, it's we're giving out the gold to when people cash in their bonds.
That Sherman Silver Purchase Act. Remember, we have to buy 4.5 million ounces of silver a month. We sell bonds to do it. We say, hey, when you redeem those bonds, you can get gold or silver. Everybody gets gold. So our trade is going down. Our gold reserves are going down. Okay. Another cause of this panic: industrial overexpansion. What has the light bulb done to productivity? Increased it. But at some point, there's a time when people have bought enough. And so what we're seeing is really an overexpansion of industry. Couple that with a poor crop harvest, and an overall economic slump in Europe, and this panic here is going to result in thousands of businesses going bankrupt. Somewhere right at a quarter of all railroad industry. All right, a quarter of all railroads go bankrupt as well. Alright? Is Cleveland going to do anything about it? No, why not? It's cyclical. We understand these things happen. But times are changing. People are changing. Alright? Our immigration is changing. We used to have all of our immigrants coming from Germany and Ireland and England, and that was fine because they had the same ideas on how to handle situations that we did. Alright? Now our immigration is shifting. Rather than immigration coming from Northwest Europe, it's now coming from Southeast Europe. Places like Italy, the Balkans, Austria-Hungary, Russia. And these countries have much more socialist ideas on how to handle these situations. And so now that we're getting a panic, a lot of people are demanding that the government, i.e. Cleveland, do something about it. Alright? One of those people that think that we should do something about it is Coach Gerard. It's actually Jacob Coxey. It's weird, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Gerard. What's that guy do anyway? Jacob Coxey, out of Ohio. He wants the government to provide relief. What Coxey wants to do, or what he wants the government to do, is enact public works programs. Okay? He wants the government to enact public works programs. You guys know what a public works program is? We typically see public works programs becoming, at least the idea for them becoming popular whenever we're in these panics or depressions. What they are is they're jobs that the government pays. They don't pay very well, but they're paying people to work on what typically is infrastructure. Roads, bridges, things of that nature. It gives the people a little bit of money to have to help them during these times, but it's also an investment in infrastructure. Why does that have the ability to be a positive relief effort?
Because you're putting money back into the economy and developing infrastructure at the same time.
Exactly. All right, and so that's going to be one of the more common ideas in how to deal with government relief, and that's what Coxey wants. All right. There's a lot of people who are in the country now that feel the same way as Coxey. And Coxey says that he wants to march. He wants to march from Ohio all the way to Washington, D.C. Okay? The people that are going to go on with this march are known as Coxey's Army. Okay? So they're going to march from Ohio to D.C.
He also looks like James Franco.
A little bit. Now, Coxey's Army really is a pathetic group of human beings. Most of these people are unemployed. They've got no home. They've got no job. They've got no money. And why not follow this guy like all those people followed Forrest Gump on his run? Okay?
Yeah.
So, they're going to march. Now, bad rumors are going to precede Coxey's Army. All right? Before Coxey's Army comes into your town or city, there's all these rumors that are circulating that Coxey's Army has been raping women and pillaging towns and just creating mayhem in all these towns. That's really not true. There's no real recorded instances of this happening, but do we get caught in rumors a lot?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets so bad, at least the rumors do, get so bad that the Secret Service is actually going to infiltrate Coxey's Army on their march. They leave Ohio in March and arrive at the Capitol building in May. Okay? Coxey is going to summit the steps of the Capitol building so he can take his proposal to Congress. As soon as he gets to the top step, he gets arrested. For what?
Treason.
Disturbing the peace, inciting a mob. No, all that fun stuff. Now, what we're going to see is that this Coxey's Army, this group, is going to be identified as a populist movement. Is that a fair generalization? Not really. The ideas of Coxey's Army, are they on par with the populist movement? No. Not at all. But the major powers are going to say, yeah, Coxey's Army, that's a populist movement. What's it going to do to the reputation of the populace? It's going to significantly tarnish the reputation of them. And we're never going to see the populace mount as successful of a campaign as they did here in '92. So, let's talk currency. Currency is going to split the Democrats. And the Democrats are going to really be split on currency. Congress is going to get called into a special session. To repeal the act, repeal the Sherman Silver Purchase Act. Cleveland wants the gold standard. All right. Eastern Democrats want what? Gold or silver?
Gold.
They want gold. Western wants what? Silver. Okay? And when Cleveland gets Congress to repeal this Sherman Silver Purchase, the West is going to completely alienate Cleveland. All right? They're going to completely alienate him. In fact, they warn him, don't come out west. Don't come west of the Mississippi. Is Cleveland going to come west of the Mississippi? Nope. He says, all right, fine. I'll just hang out here. All right. What's the biggest issue of the times? Most divisive issue? Tariff. All right. What happened with that last tariff, the McKinley tariff?
Raised it.
Jacked it up to the highest we've ever been. In 1894, we're going to get this Wilson-Gorman Act. All right, the Wilson-Gorman Act is going to be a reduction in the tariff. All right, it's a reduction in the tariff. It also adds a flat income tax. Adds an income tax. All right, now this is going to be a flat tax, though. You guys understand the difference between a flat and a graduated income tax? All right, this Wilson-Gorman Act is a flat tax. It's a flat 2% tax on all income over $4,000. Which means if you make $4,000 a year, 2% goes to the government. If you make $4 million a year, 2% goes to the government. All right? That's not what we have right now. Okay? This flat tax that is passed through with this Wilson-Gorman Act is going to be deemed unconstitutional in '95. All right? It's something called the Pollock case. All right? But it's deemed unconstitutional. That's a flat tax. It's a flat number on any income over a certain number. What we have today is a graduated tax. All right? The way that that works, I'll give you an example. I make somewhere around $45,000 a year. Somewhere around 40% of what I make a year goes to the government in taxes. Okay? Take people like, people who make $1 million plus a year. Let's say Donald Trump. Okay? Donald Trump makes tens of millions of dollars a year. He pays a little under 10% of whatever he makes in taxes. That's a graduated tax. The more money you make, the lower the percentage is. The idea there is that everybody is roughly paying the same amount of money. Does that make sense? Now, wealthy people do not like flat taxes. They don't like them at all. In fact, when the Tea Party initially came out, today the Tea Party isn't what it used to be. Okay? The Tea Party initially stood for taxed enough already. And their one big issue that they're doing, because what do third parties do? Yeah, it was like a third party within the Republican Party. bring up new ideas. TEA, Tea Party, stood for taxed enough already. They wanted a flat tax. Anybody know what they called it? The fair tax. You guys heard of the fair tax? Sometimes you see bumper stickers that say fair tax. That's what they're looking for. All right. Now, the Tea Party isn't that party anymore. Those people that initially created the Tea Party have since left the Tea Party and gone to the Libertarian Party for the most part. The Tea Party has been taken over by the neocons of the Bush 2 days. All right. So you can't really equate them to the same thing. But the original Tea Party was much more libertarian in their approach. But like I said, that Wilson-Gorman Act is going to bring something new. They try the flat tax, but the wealthy, because remember, who's in control? Big businesses. Are they going to like a flat tax?
No.
No. They much prefer a graduated tax over a flat tax. Okay? And the last thing we've got to talk about. Labor unrest. Okay? The Pullman strike. Pullman strike of 1894 is a result of this panic. Okay, it's a result of this panic. The Pullman Car Company. The Pullman Car Company made the railroad cars that people rode in. Okay, they made lots of different types of railroad cars, but because of the panic, the Pullman Car Company is going to have to downsize. Okay, they're going to have to downsize. Do the employers like that? I'm sorry, the employees like that? No, because some of them are going to lose their jobs. In May of 1894, the employees are going to go on strike. All the employees go on strike, which means Pullman Car Company is a what?
Closed shop.
Good, closed shop. Okay? Now, they're going to request a general railroad strike. Okay? They're going to request a general railroad strike. We talked the other day about how if you have a different function in a company, you have a different union. Alright? And so what they're going to do is request a general railroad strike. Everybody who's in the railroad industry, they're requesting to go on strike. The leader of the railroad union is a guy named Eugene V. Debs. And we're going to talk a lot about Debs in the future. Debs supports the strike. And what we're going to see is all railroads west of Chicago go on strike. Alright? That means there is no action. All the railroads that we've seen in the railroad maps, there is no action on the railroads west of Chicago. Not only does that mean that industry is not having their goods moved to and fro, that also means there's no mail. In the mail, there's government money, there's government contracts, there's business things. Is this good for our country? No. Cleveland opposes the strikes, and he opposes unions. He doesn't like either one of them. And in July, he's going to get an injunction. Now, the word injunction's hit the board before. What is an injunction?
Where you can't do anything, you just gotta sit there.
It's a court order to stop. Alright? And so he gets an injunction, a court order to end the strike. The workers refuse to go back to work. Alright? The workers refuse to go back to work. Cleveland, because this is a railroad company and railroad lines go directly into the factory, Cleveland is going to load up trains full of federal troops and roll them in to the Pullman Car Company. It's going to lead to a little bit of violence, but the workers say, okay, stop shooting, we'll go back to work. Alright? The strike would be broken. Debs would go to jail, all right, for violating the injunction. Are workers gonna like Cleveland?
No.
No, all right? But this is an example of more industrial unrest and issues, or I should say responses that the government's going to have towards them, all right? Any questions over today? Awesome. 7th period, I hope you enjoyed the show. You guys have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Ah!